Welcome to Writing on Caffeine, the podcast where you can come along on a journey with a father and daughter as we attempt to write our first novels. I am Jonathan Franzone, and this is my daughter.
I'm Ragan, also Franzone.
We are back at my house recording because my wife, your mother, is out of town. So we just got the 5 littles down to bed, and we are sitting at the kitchen table, and we are having a drink while we record. What are you drinking, Ragan?
I'm drinking a white chocolate peppermint mocha.
That sounds yummy.
At 7 o'clock at night.
Well, I am not drinking a caffeine beverage. I am drinking Woodford Reserve Double Oaked Bourbon.
Sounds gross.
Neat.
Yuck.
It's quite yummy.
I could smell it. It smells like fire.
Well, it is good like fire. Before we get into the writing topic that we have planned, how is your writing coming?
Okay. So, after our last podcast episode, I said that by the end of that week, I would have my outline fully finished.
And?
I am halfway done with that outline. So, I got a lot done, but not. So, I just got really tired. I was just like, I'm just going to not do this.
I did the same thing. I had made the same goal along with you and did not meet it. But I did do some work on the outline. Probably about halfway through the novel plotted out. So
yeah, I mean, I've got most of the rest of it in my head. I just need to get it on paper.
We really need to get busy on the writing.
Yeah, we do. I know. We're slacking big time.
So today we would like to write about story tropes or storytelling tropes.
Yep.
So first, what is a trope in your words?
A trope is, I would say, like a commonly used, I can't use the word trope in the definition of trope. It's like commonly used theme or maybe like plot device.
Yeah, that's good.
That occurs. There are like specific romance tropes, there are specific fantasy tropes,
right.
Action tropes.
I wanted to have a working definition of trope for this episode, so the first thing I did was look on the internet, what is a trope, and I got several articles that kind of assumed the definition, and then I got a definition that was alright, but I didn't really care for it. So I pulled up ChatGPT, which is an artificial intelligence that's been making a lot of waves lately. And so I just asked this AI, what is a storytelling trope? And it gave me this really excellent definition. A storytelling trope is a common plot device, theme, or character type that is used in a work of fiction. Trope comes from the Greek word tropos, which means a turn or a change. In storytelling, a trope is a recurring pattern or an established convention that has become a recognizable element of storytelling. What do you think?
I agree. I concur.
Yeah, so today we wanted to sort of talk about our favorite and least favorite tropes.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's jump into least favorite tropes. Why don't you go first?
All right. I'm going to talk about my absolute least favorite trope, which I've ranted to you about before. And I've tried to come up with the names for the tropes, like a general. I could not for this one. Maybe you can help me.
Okay.
It is the trope where the character, main character, whoever, is in a position of power.
Right.
And they are forced to make a decision. Like a this or that decision. And one of those decisions is obviously terrible. And they decide to make that decision.
They make the terrible decision.
But that's not the part that bothers me.
Okay.
Because if they're going to just make the bad decision, whatever. But their loved one or their counselor or someone that is their friend comes to them and says, this is a really bad decision. You should not do that. And then the main character basically tells them, you don't know how to do my job. Go away.
Right.
So they go make that decision and the loved one dies.
Yes.
That's not the part that bothers me either. I'm just leading up to the part that bothers me.
Okay.
The part that bothers me the worst is this main character is holding his loved one that has died for no reason other than his bad decision.
Right.
And the loved one says, right before their last breath passes between their lips, "You were just doing what you thought was best." Girl, no. If I'm dying because someone made a bad decision that I told them not to do, my last words would be, "This is your fault." Live with the consequences.
Right.
So that's one of my least favorite tropes. And I've seen it so many times.
Have you really?
It drives me up the wall. This was not a good decision.
Right.
Don't tell them it's okay, because it's not.
Yeah. So you've read that a lot. That must be in a lot of the YA type stuff that you read.
Yeah.
Well, you can correct this mistake in your YA novel and not use that trope.
Oh, yeah. I have plans to do that, believe me. Which I'm not going to talk about here because why ruin the surprise. But,
right.
So what would you call that trope? The unnecessary forgiveness trope, maybe?
Yeah. Since you're focused on that part, yeah, I think it would just be undue forgiveness.
Yeah. So...
Earlier in the step, there's another trope in that, which I would probably title something like not heeding advice. Mm-hmm. And there's a lot of that going along, like people just aren't taking advice from people, from loved ones that are trying to help them, and then they continue to make bad decisions while not heeding the advice.
They're just so arrogant that they can't even listen. Yeah. It's like in The Lord of the Rings, or no, The Hobbit.
Okay.
When Thorin is making terrible decisions, and literally everyone is like, "Thorin, no." And he's like, "I'm the king."
Shut up.
Shut up, man. Come on.
Well,
killing everyone.
He did have the gold fever, so.
Yeah, I don't care. I don't care.
It's funny.
All right. What's your least favorite trope?
My least favorite, the one that really drives me bonkers, I called it the don't tell anyone trope.
The miscommunication trope.
Kind of. So this is the trope where something horrible is going on with a character. Something's really wrong. They're in a lot of trouble. But no, I'm not going to tell anyone.
I can handle this myself.
That's right. I'm not going to ask the people that could actually help me. And an instance of this is Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets.
Yes.
Right? He's hearing the voices in the walls, the parcel tongue. Not going to tell Dumbledore. No, that's literally the entire Harry Potter series. Right.
Harry's like, "I'm in pain." And they're like, "You should tell Dumbledore." And he's like, "Nah, it's fine."
It's fine.
And then he's like, "The Dark Lord's back." And they're like, "We should tell Dumbledore." And he's like, I'm sure he knows.
Yeah. Yeah, that one really bothers me. And they use it in television a lot, too.
They do.
Like, lots of TV series, like...
They'll even use it like, "I got shot and I'm not going to tell anybody."
Right.
And then I'm just going to slow down the rest of the company by bleeding out everywhere and then causing everyone to die because I didn't say something.
Yeah, it would have been a lot better if you'd said something earlier.
Just die earlier.
Okay, what's your next least favorite trope?
Don't hate me. I call this trope Dumbledore Ex Machina.
Oh, good, yeah.
Like the wise old guy who just shows up out of nowhere and rescues everything all at the end.
Yeah.
I would say sometimes no hate on Tolkien at all. Gandalf falls under this as well.
Yes,
I'm
absolutely.
Like,
yeah.
Come on, man. Magic wizard granddad can't just show up and save everyone every single time.
Right.
It doesn't give us anything about the magic system or anything.
So I have this one as one of my least favorite as well. The technical term is Deus Ex Machina. So
Dumbledore Ex Machina.
It's like a god figure or just something outside of the story, completely unknown.
Yeah.
Up until that point, just swoops in and fixes everything. And from The Lord of the Rings, I have the most annoying example. You want to guess what that is?
Let me think. Is it...
Something that swoops in to fix everything.
Oh, I don't know.
Eagles!
Oh, yeah, eagles! But see, here's the thing. If you're going to use the eagles, just take them all the way, man.
Right. Like, come on. You just have the eagles swoop in.
Tolkien's like, I don't know how to get them there, so I'm just going to have magic eagles come in and fly them, but I'm not going to have them fly them all the way.
Yeah. Another example I have from The Lord of the Rings is when Aragorn goes through that dark place. I can't remember the name of it. But he goes and calls all of the ghosts to go to battle with him and to fulfill their vows so that he can release them and they can pass on or whatever. And it's not a true Deus Ex Machina because there is plot line that you see how he gets there. They don't just come out of nowhere. But for the people on the battlefield at Minas Tirith, like, it totally is.
Yeah.
Because they're fighting a losing battle, like, they're getting slaughtered, and then all of a sudden, Aragorn and all of these ghosts just swoop the field and wipe everything out.
Yes.
Like, what?
Yeah, come on, man. In The Hobbit, when he just shows up out of nowhere for the trolls.
Yes.
He's like, sunlight! And then everybody's saved.
Big flash! Yeah, Gandalf's good for that. He also does it at Helm's Deep. Mm-hmm. But you kind of see that one coming too because they prepare you, look for me on the third day at the rising of the sun.
Yeah, but like, come on. I wish that Gandalf had like a developed magic system.
Right.
I feel like that would have been so incredible. Like, The Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit, no hate. None. They're incredible.
Right.
But it could have been even more incredible if he had spent just like a minuscule amount of time, like not even like an eighth of the time he spent developing the Elven language.
Right.
To dedicate it to the magic system.
Yeah.
Again, no hate. Love him.
Right, I love it. But he never does anything serious with the magic, so
yeah.
He follows Sanderson's laws of magic.
Yeah.
And that.
It just would have been so cool.
So we both had that one
Yeah.
as our next. Another one I have is knowing when to speak up or shut up. And so a big one I've been watching a lot of Frasier lately.
I can't stand that show.
Frasier is terrible about this.
Yeah.
Like, he doesn't know when to shut up. And he's always ruining things because he just won't close his mouth.
Yes.
The other side is not knowing when to speak up. So two people come into a room and the one person's about to run off and go do something terrible or tell somebody something that is really awful. And the other person says, wait, I just want to... And then they just kind of shut him up and walk off. And the other person just stands there and lets him go.
Yeah. No,
like,
you got to be like, hey, sit the heck down and listen to what I have to say to you.
Assert yourself a little bit.
Yes.
Make them listen. And it fixes the problem.
Yeah.
And the reason I hate it is because it is a storytelling mechanism, and the writers are using that to cause tension, and you know something bad's coming, and it feels like they can't stop it, but they totally could stop it.
Yes.
So it's just a stupid way, I think, to keep a bad thing from happening.
I feel like this is very similar to the miscommunication trope.
Yeah, there's a lot of miscommunication tropes.
It's so annoying.
Yeah, another one I have is the pronoun game.
Oh, he said, and they're like, which he are we talking about?
Right.
And then the other character, like, misinterprets.
They think they're talking about them.
Yeah, they're, like, listening in secretly, and they hear somebody else talking,
Yeah.
and then they walk away right before the actual vital information is there.
Yeah.
And, miscommunication trope, I will close a book because
Really?
of a miscommunication trope. I will just completely nope out.
You're just done.
I do not quit books lightly, but if there's, like, heavy miscommunication trope, I'm outie.
Yeah.
So fast.
I don't think I've ever read a book that had a lot of that.
Ugh.
Must be this generation.
Oh my gosh, yes. There's so much miscommunication just in the world, but...
I do have one more least favorite.
What is it?
I call this one the Fresh Prince trope, taken from the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Parents just don't understand.
Oh.
So it's the parents are stupid trope.
I hate that too.
Yeah. Like
Yeah.
if you're reading a book or watching a show, and either one, the parents are, like, in the writing actually stupid for no reason other than to cause problems. Or, like, the kid just gets into all kind of problems because they think the parents are stupid. And this also happens in real life.
Yeah.
Kids, especially in their early teens, seem to think that parents are stupid.
Yeah. Okay. Favorite trope?
Favorite tropes, you got any?
Okay, yes. Here is my 100% favorite trope. This could be considered an ex machina,
Okay.
but it's very planned. It's at the end of the book, and you realize the main character had a secret plan they've been enacting the whole time.
Oh, yeah.
Like, over the whole course of the book, you can go back and see, like, the little things where
Right.
they were putting this plan into place and not just telling anybody.
Yeah.
And then this whole plan comes together, and everybody's just like, oh my gosh, this is incredible.
Right.
I love that. I love that so much because it makes me, like, love that character more. Like, you are so smart, and I'm so proud of you.
Yeah. Except in the case of Dumbledore.
Well...
Because he kind of knew where it was going the whole time, too, but it's kind of terrible.
Dumbledore's pig for slaughter. That's completely different. Dumbledore's like, Harry's gonna die, but I'm kind of okay with it. Right. When he totally could have just killed Voldemort himself.
Yeah.
Dumbledore knew about the Horcruxes the whole time. He could have been going and getting rid of them.
Well, he did try.
Yeah, and he failed miserably. And you know who did a good job? The 17-year-old. So, how old is Dumbledore? Like 200?
Yeah.
Come on, man.
He's old.
Step it up.
So that leads me to one of my favorite tropes, is the unlikely hero. So you see this used a lot, and I actually really like it. You take someone who's not seemingly a hero, like Harry Potter. He's this awkward kid that didn't grow up in the magical world, and he becomes a hero.
Yeah.
And I think that's a really powerful thing that a lot of readers, a lot of people watching shows will connect with.
Which is funny because a lot of people really hate that trope. They call it the chosen one.
Oh yeah, I have that one as well.
A lot of people really don't like that trope.
They don't like the chosen one trope.
Which I think is funny because I love it.
Yeah, I think it's a good trope.
If it's done well.
Right.
Like, I'm not a fan of, like, the chosen one wants to be the chosen one.
Yeah.
Like, don't get cocky now.
Right.
You can't be the chosen one if you actually want to be the chosen one. That's not how it works.
Yeah, so a chosen one I have, Harry Potter, actually, and then Neo from The Matrix.
Oh, yeah.
So he's kind of thrust into this weird, crazy world, and he is the actual chosen one. I think they specifically referred to him as that.
Yeah.
As far as the unlikely hero, I think two really cool examples are in the Tolkien world. So you have Frodo and Bilbo, both hobbits, both unremarkable. They don't have any powers, any skills. They're tiny people. And they become the heroes of the story. And I guess really in the Lord of the Rings series, some would argue that Sam is actually the hero.
I see that.
And he's not even the main character.
Well, he held the leash the whole time.
Right.
So. No, Frodo, don't run away.
Right. And then a biblical example is David and Goliath.
Yeah.
So David is the youngest and least warrior-like son amongst a bunch of brothers, and he's not even supposed to be at the battle line, but he goes to take his brother's food and ends up slaying Goliath, the giant.
Whoops, slipped a little bit.
That the entire Israelite army was afraid of.
Yeah.
So
very cool.
That's a really, really cool, unlikely hero trope. You have any more favorite ones?
Yeah. Unfortunately, as a woman, the romance tropes do get to me. Not all of them. And not like...
Well, I don't have any of these, so this will be good.
So, I don't say this in like a steamy way, but I love enemies to lovers.
Oh, yeah.
I think, I don't know, it just gets me every time.
Yeah.
Like, a really sweet enemies to lovers is in the Fireblood with the monk and the girl. They hate each other.
They hate each other.
And then at the end, they're all sweet on each other. And I just think it's cute.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, I like that one a lot.
Absolutely. I have one which a lot of people, I think, would hate, and that's the evil overlord trope.
Yeah, a lot of people don't like that one.
And this is just the guy that wants to destroy the world and burn everything down. But I think it's very powerful and can be done well. So, again, from the Lord of the Rings, you have Sauron, or the Eye of Sauron. This guy wants to destroy the world, and it provides something for the unlikely hero to go against, which seems overwhelmingly impossible. And so I think that's really powerful. And then also back in Sanderson world, you have the Lord Ruler in the Mistborn series. So
that one's good too.
Yeah, you don't even see him until later in the series, and he's just this mystical figure.
You know, another trope that I just thought of that I'm not a huge fan of, but I don't like loathe with passion or anything, is like, I don't know what you would call it, but like you kill the evil overlord and then all the minions just drop dead.
Oh yeah.
I'm like, cop out.
Yeah. It can be done well, but yeah, I've seen that in several places. The place I'm thinking of now that is really, really good is Ender's Game. That's another unlikely hero trope as well. So Ender Wiggin is this young boy, and he was not even supposed to be born. So in this world, parents are only supposed to have 2 kids. he's a third, and the parents had to get special permission from the government to have a third child.
Yeah. Chosen one.
He's a chosen one, right? So he becomes selected to go into this military training school up in space. And he thinks the whole time, sorry, spoiler alert, he thinks the whole time that they're playing games. And in the beginning they are. So they're just playing these battle games, and he's got his little team of kids. Mm-hmm. And they end up advancing to the next stage, And then the end is just this big, he thinks, simulation. And all of the Earth, leaders and stuff are there to watch, this simulation. And he ends up taking out it's like a bug queen. Mm-hmm. And so you take out the queen, the entire hive goes dead. And so he ends up destroying this entire race of bug aliens. And,
turns out to be real.
Surprise, you were in the actual battle and you were commanding actual ships. Right.
Whoops. My bad.
Yeah, it's a really powerful book, and I really love it.
Yeah. I think of Stranger Things.
Yeah.
When they close the door and all the demodogs, drop dead.
Right.
Which I can understand in some instances where it's like the whole world is just overrun with these creatures. There's no way anybody's going to survive, even if the evil overlord's dead. So you have to kill them.
Yeah.
But, I don't know. Self-control. Maybe let less creatures get into the world so you don't have to just kill them all when you kill the bad guy.
Right.
I don't know. Oh, what's another trope that I really don't like? I don't like the my dad's the bad guy trope.
Explain that more.
They're getting there and they're fighting and then, you get to the bad guy.
Are you talking about Darth Vader?
Well, not just Darth Vader. I'm not talking about, I said my dad's the bad guy, but I don't mean just the dad.
Right.
I mean, it was my mom the whole time, or it's my uncle that I thought was dead. And
right. It's like someone really close to you that turns
that.
out to be the bad guy. You don't like that?
Come on, man.
Yeah.
Do you know what's the worst trope, though?
What's the worst trope? We should have opened with this one.
The Divergent series. That is the worst.
Just the entire series.
The entire series is terrible. I'm sorry if you listeners like the Divergent series. I respectfully disagree.
Or Veronica, what's her name?
Veronica Roth.
Yeah, maybe we'll have to interview her.
I think not.
No.
I'd be like, why? Why? Why?
Why did you do this to us?
I have so many interrogating questions.
Another good trope, I think, is the mentor trope. Like the old wise, like Yoda or Obi-Wan. Just some older wise figure that takes in this young hero and trains them. And that's actually very, very common.
Yeah. Speaking of that, spoiler alert for the Divergent series, how do you feel about kill the main character trope? Because
if it's done well, I think it can be good.
I do too.
But not pointlessly.
Yeah. I think the problem with this trope is so many people are untrustworthy of that trope because it's done unnecessarily.
Right.
Like, the author just wants a reaction out of the reader.
Yeah.
And so they kill the main character. Or, one of the, main supporting characters.
Right.
And there's absolutely no reason.
Yeah, who's it? Stephen King that said, kill your darlings?
Yeah. No, but come on. When J.K. Rowling was writing the Harry Potter series, Ron was supposed to die in the 4th book, I think.
Oh, no.
Yeah. I was like, see, she changed her mind. Because that would have been a terrible idea.
That would have been awful.
So,
you can't kill Ron.
But Sirius Black.
Yeah.
That was a good kill your darlings.
That was a good kill.
That was a good one.
Because you really feel that one.
Oh, yeah. I cried.
Yeah.
When I read that, I cried.
But he's also, not...
No, he's a morally great character.
Yeah, he's a morally good character, but he's not required for the series.
I said morally gray.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so he's not required for the story to reach its end.
Yeah.
Like, if you kill Ron, you could still do it, and you could probably still do it well, but...
Yeah, but, come on.
Your readers may not recover from that one.
Divergent. I keep thinking up new tropes, but here's another one.
Yeah, go ahead.
I love the bad guy is secretly not a bad guy trope.
Speaking of...
Snape. Okay, no, that was done poorly.
Severus Snape.
I think that was done poorly in that book series.
Oh, really?
Because you can do things to seem like a bad guy, and you can do bad things. But the way that he basically tortured Harry throughout the entire series is not forgivable. Like, yeah, you loved his mom, and she rejected you. You can't take it out on this kid. You can do things to make him think you don't like him without actually being cruel to him, specifically.
But he also had the problem of having his mind read regularly by the Dark Lord.
I don't care. That was just... I didn't think that was done well.
I thought it was done really well.
He didn't do enough to make me think that he was actually good.
He was truly actually good.
Yeah. He just was doing what he wanted for himself.
Right.
I have read
So
books.
when the snake kills him, you're like, oh, good.
I mean, yeah. Okay, you were working with Dumbledore, but Dumbledore's plan was low-key nefarious anyway, So it's not like you were actually doing good things. You were just saving Harry so that he could die later. So he knew he was going to die anyway. So It's like, I just didn't feel like that was good. There are some books that I've read where, like, the bad guy does a really good job. And then even, like, I love when the bad guy reveals to the main character that he's not the bad guy, but he still has to pretend he's the bad guy. So only the main character knows they're not the bad guy. And then they can see, like, the way they're fronting and doing that. I just love it. I don't know. I love that.
Can you list a good example of that?
I'm trying to think.
'Cause I don't know that I've read a better example than Harry Potter and Snape.
There is a book series that I can think of that does that, but it's not one that I would recommend.
If you know what I mean.
But yeah, A Court of Thorns and Roses by Sarah J. Maas has that trope in it, and I love the way she did that. But the rest of the book is moderately scandalous. Just move past that. Or just don't read it. But yeah, I like the way she did that in the book series.
Oh, okay.
It was good.
I probably won't read that.
Yeah, I wouldn't. I wouldn't read it again, but I got roped in before I knew it was the full context. I read the first book, and it was like, it wasn't my favorite.
Yeah.
But then, like, it caught me at the end with that trope.
Right.
They're like, oh, he's not the bad guy. Well, now what? So you read the next book, and you're like, oh no. Wait, I did not sign up for this.
Nice.
Yeah.
So, tell me what books are you reading, still reading, or reading any new ones?
Oh, well, you can't tell. I finished the Divergent series. I am currently still reading The Way of Kings, and I have The Horse and His Boy on my bedside table.
Haven't started it yet?
No. I finished annotating The Assassin's Blade.
Okay.
That I was reading, which I love annotating books. We should do a whole podcast about that.
We should, yeah.
Because I really love that.
I'll have to learn from you because I've never done that in my life.
I'll have to bring in some of my books. You should see.
I'd love to see that.
It's like a rainbow. Anyway.
So I'm still reading The End of the Magi and Ayn Rand's Atlas Shrugged. Actually, I don't know why I keep listing that one. I haven't picked it up in a while. And that's about it. I'm reading some nonfiction, but it's for school, so.
Yeah, nothing interesting.
Well, it's interesting stuff. Not pertaining to this podcast.
Yeah.
So as we close up, I have some good news. We are now on Google Play and Stitcher for our podcast. So that's Google Play, Stitcher, Apple, iTunes, and Spotify. Thank you for joining us in this 9th episode of Writing on Caffeine. We hope you'll join us again in 2 weeks. Please subscribe wherever you find podcasts. If you are so inclined, leave us a review. 5-star reviews are preferable. Be sure to visit the website, writingoncaffeine.com, where you can view the show notes and subscribe to our email list so that you never miss an episode.
Bye.
Bye-bye. So the first thing I did was look it up on a browser search. Just let it run.
Y'all.
What are y'all doing?
Please hold while the cat and the dog have a fight. Yeah, he doesn't want to go out. He just wants the cat to go out with him.
The cat is outside, the dog is inside.
For now.
Down.
Dog on the table.
Right.